Hi guys, it's Marc Zicree of Space Command, Star Trek, Puppy's Further Adventures, Forever Night, etc., etc., etc. Many of the shows I've written for. So, been very busy the last few decades. Been working very hard the last few weeks on Space Command, getting a lot of visual effects shots done, ramping up to shoot more. Tons of stuff. People have been buying shares. If you're interested in buying shares, just contact me at marczicree@gmail.com and I can send you all the information, or you can call me at 323-363-1259. But that is not what we're here to talk about today. I'll be doing a thing on Space Command very soon. Lots to update about. But I am going to be talking about A Quiet Place, which is a movie that came out a few days ago. A very fun little movie. It stars Emily Blunt and her real life husband John Krasinski as parents of several children who are living in a future or an alternative, let's say a near future, where aliens or have invaded or monsters have invaded, and they can't see but they can hear. They've got these big, very sensitive ears, and so you have to be absolutely silent, or because if they hear you, they'll kill you. They'll find you and they'll kill you. So it's fun because it's a fun movie, an entertaining movie. Emily Blunt is very good. John Krasinski is very good. And an actress who plays their daughter, Millicent Simmons, they have a daughter who has a cochlear implant that's on the fritz, and so she's essentially deaf by and large, and the actress they cast is actually deaf, and so she's very, very good in the role, and so it's you believe these people, you believe this family, and the monsters are well designed, and the threat is creepy. And it's funny because, when we were deciding whether to go see it or not, Elaine was reticent because it was she thought it would be a horror movie. And when we went and saw it, it's not a horror movie. It's basically an alien invasion movie, a monster movie. And there's a difference, which is in a horror movie, basically people are picked off. There can often be a certain cruelty or sadism in horror movies. It's a very different aesthetic. Whereas in a monster movie, usually you're rooting for the people to survive. You want them to win. It's a different aesthetic, particularly alien invasion movies. So it's a different sort of a moral universe in a way, and the assumptions underneath are very, very different. So John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were talking about the reasons for wanting to do this, which were their parents and their issue of, can you protect your children? How do you protect your children from a menacing world? Was filtered through this lens, and it's a fun film. I recommend it. It's well worth your nickel, your movie going dollar, and Emily Blunt, interestingly enough, is a science fiction actress. She's actually got a series of science fiction movies that you can watch if you like her. She's British, so sometimes she'll be playing an American, sometimes she'll be playing a Brit, but she's also in Looper, very good in that. She's also in The Adjustment Bureau, also good in that. And of all the science fiction films she's done, my favorite is a film that was not financially successful, Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise, which was also promoted after the fact as Live, Die, Repeat, because Edge of Tomorrow is such a bad title. And that's also an alien invasion film, and she plays sort of a warrior woman, and she's very good in that, very credible. And so if you want to see her in two movies where monsters invade, you could make a pretty good double bill out of those two films. So that's the basics. The look of Quiet Place is very good. The sound design is very good. The music by Marco Beltrami, who also did iRobot, is suspenseful. And some people find the plot dumb. I didn't find it dumb. I liked it. I liked the film, and I think because one movie critic was saying, well, they should be watching their kids all the time and always with their kids and staying with their kids. Well, but those with kids know that you cannot watch them all of the time, and particularly as they get into their teen years, you have to give them a certain amount of autonomy. And so again, I didn't find those things unreasonable, and people are going to screw up, people are going to make mistakes, particularly in a world where you can't make a single noise. Things are going to happen. So it was fun. It was fun. The one thing was that certain vehicles and buildings seemed more aged than they would in the time frame the movie is set in, because initially I think we see the film, it starts like 8 months after the fact or something like that, and then it's a certain number of days later, which several years later, and you wouldn't have things completely rot out that quickly. And but that said, still a lot of fun, still well realized. There's been, a number of very interesting science fiction films and TV shows in the last couple of years. It's also the 50th anniversary of 2001, so if you've never seen that, I urge you to go see that. This week, in a few days, we'll have the premiere of the new Lost in Space, which looks very good. I've heard that it's good, and then a little over a week afterwards, there'll be the premiere of the second season of Westworld. So that's really about it for now. Just a short one this time, but we'll be talking a lot more very soon. And if you're not subscribing to Mr. Sci-Fi, go on Mr. Sci-Fi, subscribe. One person told me they had unsubscribed because they didn't like the fact that I liked Mad Max Fury Road and Looper. Again, it takes all kinds to make a world, and I don't mind if someone hates the movies that I like. But I think, it's fun to talk about these things in context, and certainly the history of monster movies, alien invasion movies, is a very rich one, going all the way back to War of the Worlds, and the novel, of course, the H.G. Wells novel with Martians attacking and people basically losing, and microbes saving the day. There's, it's that fascinating notion of taking our fear of the unknown, our fear of something powerful and predatory, and putting it into a science fiction context. And the question is always, well, how do you do a spin on it? How do you make it different? How do you make it interesting? How do you make the monsters different? And sometimes a fairly cheesy monster can really work. Like if you look at the George Pal War of the Worlds, you've got these little Martians with these three colored eyes, and it's thrown together. It's like paper mache and chicken wire or whatever. When you hear the making of it, how flimsy it was, and how they were holding their breath for fear it would fall apart, it still works really well as a very weird, creepy creature, and even better than the Martians in the Spielberg version. Though the Spielberg version has its strengths as well. The opening of that film is really terrific. It's got some great set pieces. So that's it for now. We'll talk very soon. Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, and thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.